Welcome to News Today with WDW News Today. I'm Tom Corliss. Here now the news for July 15th, 2019. Disney has just announced that the Star Wars Rise of the Resistance attraction that'll be coming to Star Wars Galaxy's Edge at Disney's Hollywood Studios will open on December 5th, 2019. The attraction is also set to open at Galaxy's Edge at Disneyland on January 17th of 2020, delayed from the previously announced later this year opening date. When it opens, Star Wars Rise of the Resistance will blur the lines between fantasy and reality and will put guests in the middle of a climactic battle between the First Order and the Resistance. Guests will be recruited to join Rey and General Organa at a secret base, and along the way they'll be captured by the First Order Star Destroyer. With the help of some heroes of the Resistance, they break out and must escape the Star Destroyer, protect the secret base, and stay one step ahead of Kylo Ren. As soon as work is completed at Walt Disney World, Imagineers will head back to California to complete their mission at the Disneyland Resort. Disney has officially announced that on September 29th, the Disney Skyliner will take flight and officially begin transporting guests around the Walt Disney World Resort. As we hashed out in an earlier assessment of the Skyliner openings, according to construction personnel working on the project, select Disney Skyliner lines are expected to open in late August, around August 28th. This would include all but the Epcot line, but just to be safe, that official date is September 29th. New Disney Transport Sensational 6 buses are hitting the roads of Walt Disney World starting this month. These new buses feature the likenesses of Mickey, Minnie, Donald, Daisy, Goofy, and Pluto. The buses that we spotted around property will feature some unique elements to improve guest satisfaction. Each of these new transport buses has USB ports for guests to charge their devices and eventually Wi-Fi for guests to stay connected. These new look buses have a refreshed interior featuring blue seats and laminate flooring. Well, it's finally happening. The walkway everyone has been waiting for their entire life, seemingly, will finally happen. At least we think so. According to a permit filed with the Florida Department of Environmental Protection, a project labeled, quote, Grand Floridian to MK Walkway is in the works. As many guests to Walt Disney World have noticed, the pathway from the Magic Kingdom has long extended to the electrical water pageant area where that's stored, but not beyond to the Grand Floridian. This walkway, if built, would allow guests to walk from the Polynesian Resort and Grand Floridian Resort to the Magic Kingdom without taking a monorail or other transportation. The second-floor signature restaurant Citricos at Disney's Grand Floridian Resort and Spa will reportedly be converted into Victoria and Albert's Bistro as part of the continued reimagining of the resort. The first of the major changes to the lobby is already underway, a conversion of Misner's Lounge and Commander Porter's into a Beauty and the Beast-themed bar. You may recall a story we posted a few years ago where we told you that Bob Chapek was not a fan of the look and feel of the Grand Floridian. Here is an excerpt now from that story in January of 2017. Quote, it appears Chairman of Disney Parks and Resorts Bob Chapek is not a big fan of the current Disney's Grand Floridian Resort and Spa, Walt Disney World's flagship hotel, and often most expensive per night. Similar to the recently initiated shakeup in housekeeping for Disney World, Chapek feels as if the Four Seasons Resort Orlando is putting them to shame when it comes to what a luxury resort on property should be. So what's the solution? To completely gut the 28-year-old Magic Kingdom area resort, of course. Should it come to fruition, all of the rooms in the lobby of the resort will be completely gutted and rebuilt with a more modern luxury theme, perhaps along the lines of a new hotel being constructed at the Disneyland Resort. As it stands now, this project may not even be in the design phase as of yet, but it seems as if it will come to fruition should Chapek remain at the helm of Parks and Resorts for the foreseeable future. Well, flash forward to today, and he's been in charge for a few years now, and it seems that you're finally getting around to gutting that lobby in phases. While the next phase includes Citricos for sure, we also know that the concierge-level lounge in the lobby building will be getting an overhaul imminently. The space that today is Citricos was once Flagler's Restaurant, which opened on June 28, 1988. It featured Italian and continental cuisine. It closed on July 6, 1997 to become Citricos on November 8th. So why change Citricos into Victoria and Albert's Bistro? Well, because besides your need to remodel the lobby and all of its offerings, V&A continues to rack up awards and recognition. It's not an easy reservation to grab, and you certainly just can't walk in. I mean, meanwhile, while I love Citricos and it's probably the most underrated signature restaurant on property, it is seemingly always available during a dining reservation search in the My Disney Experience app. Mooching off of the success of Victoria and Albert's isn't the worst idea, even if putting an IP-themed bar in the lobby is. While the timeline remains unclear for when Citricos will close for these changes, it should be after the bar project is complete. We assume that it will entail a remodeling of the dining space and an overhaul of the menu at the very least. So what exactly is happening in total to Disney's Grand Floridian Resort and Spa? Well, it's hard to say so early on in the project, but based on the concept art and what we now know will make up the next phase of the project, I assume Mr. Chapek's dreams are coming true. I assume that elements in development for the Fantasy Springs Hotel for Tokyo Disney Resort and the upcoming reimagining of the already similar Disneyland Hotel in Paris are being shared, and all three will have this quote-unquote deluxe resort with Disney princess elements motif. So if you love the Grand Floridian Resort as I do, it may be a good time to go and start saying your goodbyes to the lobby area and Citricos as they exist now. This past week marked the grand opening of the Grand Destino Tower at Disney's Coronado Springs Resort, and the Disney community was abuzz about the new addition. If you want to check out a full review of Toledo, the new rooftop restaurant, we have that on our site. As well, there's a review of Dahlia, the adjacent new lounge. And we even have a review of the hotel and our hotel room in Grand Destino Tower, all available. And later this week, we'll even have a review for you of the club level experience, that Kronos Club Lounge that's available if you stay at that level of the hotel. And all that can be found on our site. Known for its rustic cabin design, Disney's Wilderness Lodge has been enchanting guests with uniquely appointed rooms featuring carved wood headboards on the beds, bright red accent pillows featuring Thumper, and even Chippendale tiles in the bathrooms for years now. Well, it appears that the Lodge is currently testing out a set of newly remodeled club level king rooms, previously known as honeymoon suite rooms, located on the top floor at the resort, featuring the streamlined, quote-unquote, modern look we've seen applied to many remodels across property, similar to what you've seen at the All-Star Resorts, Coronado Springs, and even the new Grand Destino Tower. You can check out a full tour of these new rooms at WDWNT.com. They're expected to all be in place starting next year. If you're planning a trip to Walt Disney World later this year, you may want to take note of these long-standing and limited-time offerings ending in the coming months. At Animal Kingdom, the Hakuna Matata Time Dance Party is ending on September 30th. Meanwhile, Epcot's Guardians of the Galaxy Awesome Mix Live will conclude on August 18th. The Super Shindig featuring The Incredibles at Disney's Hollywood Studios will also end on September 30th, as will Mickey and Minnie's Surprise Celebration at the Magic Kingdom. You may also remember that September 30th happens to be the final day ever for Illuminations Reflections of Earth at Epcot. And usually at this point I tell you all about our exciting event, which includes dessert parties to that final showing and such. But most offerings are sold out already. So all I can tell you is that we do still have tickets left for the incredible luncheon event, which will feature the creator of the show, Don Dorsey, the composer of the show, and as well the vocalist who performs the We Go On and Promise from Illuminations Reflections of Earth. Tickets to that event on September 30th are still available at reflectionsofforever.com. The iconic sign which towers over the entrance to Tomorrowland has been removed, with a redesigned sign set to be installed later this summer. As we know, the whole of Tomorrowland is already in the midst of receiving some much-needed rejuvenation. We've already seen a snazzy new orange, teal, and white color scheme being painted across the landscape, with these bold pops of color really standing out beneath the speedy construction of the Tron roller coaster looming in the distance. All these improvements are pointing towards that great, big, beautiful new Tomorrowland shining, ready for the 50th anniversary of Walt Disney World in 2021. Well, at least some of it will be. The bridge will remain open whilst the marquee is missing, so other than a lack of signposting, the land won't be impacted. On Friday, something happened during the routine startup procedures of the Astro Orbiter in Tomorrowland at the Magic Kingdom. The ride never opened that day and has been closed ever since. The unplanned maintenance, not announced months in advance, is a rarity for Walt Disney World, but funny enough, Primeval World at Animal Kingdom has been closed for weeks under similar circumstances. It's unclear when the Astro Orbiter will return, and Disney has yet to mention the closure publicly, but maintenance crews look to be working very hard to bring the ride back as soon as possible. Character Spot in Epcot will close on September 8th, 2019, temporarily. They're knocking down that building, so I don't know how temporary that is, to accommodate the Project Gamma work for the park Epcot. So if you want to meet your favorite Disney characters at the park, here are the changes you'll need to know about. Minnie Mouse will move into the World Showcase gazebo. Daisy Duck will move to the American Adventure Pavilion. While new locations are being developed for Mickey and Goofy, they will temporarily appear in Innoventions West. And in the near future, Mickey Mouse will move to an all-new location in the Imagination Pavilion. Meanwhile, Goofy will venture out into the park and will soon find a new home that will be announced later. Joy also will move soon to a location to be announced. I guess Sadness won't be joining her. Meanwhile, Winnie the Pooh will return to the United Kingdom Pavilion greeting guests at Christopher Robin's bedroom beginning in September. Meanwhile, Baymax will no longer be greeting guests after his meet and greet closes later this year. Disney has alluded that Starbucks will be moved to a quote-unquote temporary location later this year after Fountain View closes in the late fall of 2019. If you're looking to get your Starbucks fix in the meantime, the rumor is that a temporary location will be available at the Odyssey, where you'll also reportedly be able to find the classic Imageworks Rainbow Tunnel. The Art of Disney, meanwhile, will operate from a temporary location while the work is underway to move on to Heritage Manor Gifts at the American Adventure, which will be the new permanent home for the Art of Disney. As a reminder, it is set to close as well on September 8th, with the final day of operation on September 7th. Meanwhile, the classic Fountain of Nations will be closing permanently on September 8th, along with the nearby Penn Central. Meanwhile, the Electric Umbrella venue is set to be extensively remodeled, but nothing has been officially announced as of yet. It could return as the Electric Umbrella or something new, but it is expected to be a food and beverage location regardless, offering guests a variety of dining options. Electric Umbrella will officially close this winter. The last day of operation currently listed is November 23rd. Meanwhile, Mouse Gear is set to close for an extensive remodeling before the end of the year and will be moving to a temporary home over the winter during the refurbishment of the retail location. You still have a few months to take in its glorious late 90s interior, but unlike the rest, an official closing date for the refurbishment has yet to be announced. Thankfully, Club Cool is also set to return eventually, incorporated into a new space in the near future. As a reminder, its current location will close on Shock September 8th, with its final day of operation on September 7th. All of this is part of the ongoing overhaul of Epcot, and specifically Project Gamma, which includes a new entranceway layout with a fountain, greenscapes, and benches, a reimagining of the center of Future World with a beer garden and a permanent festival center, and the yet-to-be-announced 2.5-year refurbishment of Spaceship Earth. All of that is expected to be completed in 2022 for Epcot's 40th anniversary. Takumi Tai has opened in Epcot's Japan Pavilion, and with the omakase tasting menu starting at $130 and main courses trailing not too far behind in price, you'll probably want to check out our tour and in-depth review of the new restaurant at wwnt.com. Rafiki's Planet Watch has officially reopened at Disney's Animal Kingdom, sporting a brand new attraction known as the Animation Experience at Conservation Station. The new experience has taken over what once was the Song of the Rainforest booths, as well as the Animal Encounters stage. Photographs and diagrams along the walls tell the history of the True Life Adventures nature documentary series, as well as various examples of when animators had live animals brought in for classic animated films such as Bambi. Now guests can learn more about some of the animals who call this park home and have the chance to create a personalized piece of Disney art through an instructor-led animation class. So basically, Animation Academy is back. As you can see, some of the beloved characters from The Lion King are the stars of the animation experience currently. You can learn to draw Simba, Zazu, Pumbaa, and Timon. And upon finishing the drawing, you're handed a rubber band to roll up your drawing. The exit, meanwhile, is now over by where the old entrance to Conservation Station used to be, and at least, or Planet Watch, and at least it seems the funky billboard is staying inside by those restrooms. You can still enjoy that. Once outside, the affection section is still there, and so you're free to go and pet the critters. The Rafiki and Doc McStuffins meet and greets are gone, of course. It may also be worth noting that obviously the train, the Wildlife Express train, is back as well, although now it has a pre-recorded spiel. You can watch video of that and the full animation experience right here on our YouTube channel. Starting on July 19th, all guests will be able to experience a new scavenger hunt in Africa and Animal Kingdom themed to The Lion King. Some of your favorite characters are hidden around Harambee Village, and each time you spot one, add the corresponding sticker to your map. The map will be available at the Outpost, Discovery Trading Company, Island Mercantile, and Mombasa Marketplace. Whether you choose to hunt for all the carvings or not, return your map to Mombasa in Harambee or the Outpost shop in the Oasis by September 28th, or while supplies last, for a Savannah surprise. The unexpected closure of Primeval Whirl at Animal Kingdom just got even longer. Dinoland USA will be without its coaster through July 20th, 2019 at the very least. First reported closed on June 17th of 2019. The reason for the closure has yet to be announced by Disney. Primeval Whirl was previously expected to reopen early in July and then on July 13th, but it has been extended once again. All guests with a current Fast Pass for the attraction should receive a multiple experience Fast Pass for an attraction of the same tier. Up, A Great Bird Adventure at Disney's Animal Kingdom is a show with quite a troubled history, as you may have heard. It debuted back in April of 2018, only to be rewritten 5 months later when it debuted with an all-new script. Well, now it seems the show is scheduled to go on a brief hiatus once more in order to receive some show updates. The show will be on hiatus from September 8th through the 14th, with the show returning on the 15th to once again delight fans. The NBA Experience store has officially opened ahead of the actual NBA Experience at Disney Springs. The store opens just weeks ahead of that August 12, 2019 grand opening for the neighboring Experience. Blizzard Beach, the ski resort-themed water park at Walt Disney World, is closing for an extended refurbishment later this year. The refurbishment will start on September 8, 2019, much earlier than usual, and will conclude sometime in early 2020. Typhoon Lagoon and Blizzard Beach close every year in the winter for refurbishments during the low weather season, where water park demand is low. However, Disney has stated that this refurbishment will include, quote, additional refurbishment work and enhancements above the normal work. Disneyland Resort will once again be partaking in Halloween time this year, September 6th through October 31st at Disneyland and Disney California Adventure theme parks. The Halloween Screams fireworks this year will now be offered to guests at Disneyland Park without party tickets for the first time in a decade because there's no party at Disneyland this year. As well, Space Mountain Ghost Galaxy will not be returning this year either, as they will be keeping Hyperspace Mountain in its place. Meanwhile, the party is moving over to DCA for the brand new Oogie Boogie Bash, a Disney Halloween party, which will debut on September 17th and will continue for 20 select nights at California Adventure Park. This separate ticketed party treats guests to multiple new experiences that are fun for the entire family, from the new World of Color Spectacular Villainous to an interactive Descendants-inspired dance party, a stage show with Mickey Mouse, and a mysterious Disney villains walkthrough experience. For a very limited time this summer, Mickey Mouse and his friends are joining the world-famous Disneyland Band for special performances of, quote, Mickey and Friends Bandtastic Cavalcade. This delightful procession, featuring live music and a host of favorite Disney characters, takes place twice daily along the parade route at Disneyland Park. The march steps off in grand style, complete with colorfully adorned Main Street USA vehicles, and continues through the park with stops for special show moments where guests can dance and clap along with their friends. Mickey Mouse and Minnie Mouse will be there, along with Donald, Goofy, Pluto, and a parade of rarely seen characters, some of which will include Peter Pan, Captain Hook, Genie, Aladdin, King Louie, Turk, Marie, and more. Mickey and Friends Bandtastic Cavalcade starts July 18th at Disneyland Park, but only runs through August 1st. The official replacement for Soundsational, Magic Happens, is set to debut in 2020. The Red Car Trolley Newsboys show won't be staying long at Disney California Adventure, it seems. Amid a wave of cutbacks and hiring freezes due to low summer crowds, the fan favorite show is on the chopping block. According to Disney, the show is ending because of the temporary closure of the Red Car Trolley due to the Marvel-themed land construction. They have tried to run the show without the trolley, but they claim that audience numbers were lower than usual. July 23rd will apparently mark the final performance of the show, which has been a part of the park since its rededication on June 15th of 2012, which is also when the Red Car Trolley debuted. Now, that being said, hopefully the show might come back when the Red Car Trolley is reported to return next year. At a recent Inside Ears event, Daniel Delcourt from Disneyland Paris Operations announced that the Dapper Dan's haircuts will be relocated inside the Liberty Arcade. The barbershop is currently located in the back of the Emporium at Disneyland Park, with an entrance located on Flower Street, and the Liberty Arcade is currently home to the beautiful Statue of Liberty diorama, which it has been home to since the park opened in 1992. As shown in the blueprints from Outside Ears, you can see the current location of the barbershop and the planned future site where the Statue of Liberty diorama is currently located. The blueprint shows the future barbershop entrance inside the Liberty Arcade. It looks as though the current Statue of Liberty mural at the entrance of the diorama will be destroyed to create the entrance to the new barbershop. The next blueprint shows the plans for the interior, and you can see the popular diorama itself looks to remain, but it will strangely be inside the barbershop. Just sort of crammed in there. It's really odd. A really odd change. Why they need 15 more feet of space in the Emporium at Disneyland Paris, which already has very little of its own merchandise, is beyond me. But anyway. For more information on these stories and more, head on over to WDWNT.com. And if you're enjoying the show, be sure to like this video, subscribe to WDW News Today on YouTube for more great content, and click the bell for notifications. For the worldwide leader in Disney Parks news, this is Tom Corliss saying enjoy the rest of your today, and have a great, big, beautiful tomorrow.